Hi everyone, today we'll be talking about our proposal of improvements for Yelp.com. This is mostly a proposal for translation crowdsourcing strategy. My colleague Timmy and I will be walking you through the process. So here's an overview of agenda. We'll be talking about reasons for suggesting Yelp.com to develop translation crowdsourcing, along with our recommendations, the recommended step for improvements. We'll also be talking to you about strategies and cost to ensure quality and quantity of translation, including an estimated overall cost. And last, we'll be talking about expected outcomes with implementing suggestions. So as we all know, Yelp is one of the most popular platform when it comes to research restaurants, reviews, and recommendations. As of right now, they have little localization efforts. They are available in 35 countries, and they have 42 languages supported on their platform. But as of right now, the user-generated content, including the recommendations, reviews, and comments, they're supported by the Bing translator, which means that they provide really rough machine translation, which could sometimes lead to inaccurate meanings and poor customer feedback. The reason we're suggesting translation crowdsourcing for Yelp is because of this existing framework. It's mostly user-generated. It has already crowdsourced reviews and recommendations, and our idea is why don't we use that talent pool to appeal to our multilingual audiences for them to translate their own favorite restaurant reviews in their own languages. So here's our recommendations for improvements. As of right now, they're only used the Bing translator, so there's no team, no internal process to help perfect the translation. So our suggestions will be to bring in a new team. It'll be formed by management, quality assurer, linguist, and engineering talents to help streamline the process, to manage the volunteers, and to help optimize the workflow, and to recruit, and also for marketing purposes as well. So here's a suggested team structure. We'll be having a final verifier called a project manager, and under him, we'll be having a quality assurer. He or she will be charged of review the translations performed by the volunteer translators, and she'll also be working closely with the language solution provider, which is our review vendor. We'll also be needing an engineering talent to provide technical support to build out a platform tool for our volunteer translators to be engaged in. So here is our suggested step for our machine translation improvements. The first step is to establish a backend framework and system for volunteer translators so they can perform edits and votes. And the second thing is we should establish a voting system. Is to give volunteer translators a platform and an opportunity to vote on the quality of machine translation. And the third step is QA check, which means that a QA and a translation vendor will work closely with reviewing the volunteer edits, approve and publish edit results, and then notify volunteer translators if their translations are being approved and used. We also thought about prioritization because we know there are millions of reviews on Yelp and it's a really popular app. So we suggest that since there's a hierarchy of restaurant popularity listed on Yelp, we propose to first prioritize the sponsor organizations and individuals, as well as the top highlighted comments and reviews, so restaurants can display their most liked comments to help attract business and attention. And next, we'll be talking about strategies to ensure quality and how to motivate volunteers, and I'll be passing on to my colleague.
Thank you, Elena. Next, I'm going to talk about the strategies that we customize to help Yelp to improve the quality and quantity. The first is the strategies to ensure quality. It can be divided by a few parts. The first is a pre-screening process. It means that when volunteers register for account, they are asked about their linguistic backgrounds, language capabilities, and related translation experience. This will develop into a filter and weighted percentage in the system, showing to the QA and linguistic viewers on the backend on the system. This way, the reviewers would have the ability to select on the edit result they desire. For instance, if they only wish to see French-English translator with an education degree in translation, they could select the filter with a degree. And second is to provide a proper style guide for volunteer translator, including translation memories, glossary, and term-based as translation are perfectly throughout time. And then is to check the sensitive word check. It means that we need to check the potential implied offensive and racism word phrases segment that could appear in the target translate text. And some countries need to pay attention to sensitive terms restricted by geopolitics. And then we have several ways. The first is to continuous refinement. It means that the system needs to keep updating the most recent version of edit translation so that volunteer translators are constantly improving on each other. And then we suggest to build a personalized direct messaging system that allow communication between reviewers and volunteer translator for feedback and corrections. And then we suggest to actively collect feedbacks. So we need to actively collect feedback from volunteer translators through online service or direct contact. By categorize these feedbacks and focus on correcting the problems, we need to, it will help us to further improve. And then I will talk about the strategies to ensure the quantity. And we will, by doing this by motivation, first, we will provide a gamification system. This means the system related to Yelp's overview brand image, including medals and reward nicknames such as Rookie Foodie, Gourmet Foodie, Master Foodie, and etc. Or specific to the type of restaurant volunteers spend most of their effort on, such as ice cream lover, chili taco, or reflect personal taste and preferences. And then we suggest to use social media for marketing and recruiting purpose. For instance, we could post advertisement on Yelp so users would be more likely to understand and join the team. And then we suggest to offering some incentives, including but not limited to potential discount and coupons for dining, curtails waitlist time, and etc. And then we suggest to organize some in-person and remote events where volunteers can gathering around and share their experience. Then we suggest to expanding the talent base by gathering talent through some translation talent agency and translation institutions such as Middlebury Institution of International Studies. And it will possibility in change for school credit or certain certificate. Finally, we think the collaborate with other platforms will really likely to help to improve the situation. We could collaborate with major platforms such as LinkedIn to offer candidates a completion or honorary certificate for documentation purpose. And then I would like to talk about the estimated cost. For the estimated cost, we divided to 4 parts. We estimate the cost for internal talent of 20%. It is a certain invest for recruiting new talent. And then we estimate the cost for management at 20%. It is a cost for restructuring personal structure. And then the external LSP will be cost by 35% because we need to hire some external LSP who can in charge of reviewing, post-editing, or approve original translation. And then we estimate the collaboration cost will be 25%. It is a necessary investment in partnership with other organizations. Next, I'm going to pass back to my colleague to talk about the expectations.
Thank you, Leila. So our suggestion right now is to implement immediately. For this project, we're looking at a significant addition and reorganization within a company. So we propose to start a hire process at once, and within half a year, as our projected timeline, we will be able to prepare the backend framework, platform, and get a project up and running with new talents and LSP vendors. And once our team is ready, we will start recruiting on different social medias and expand upon a volunteer talent pool. So by the end, within 2 years, we hope to achieve 70% of the perfected translations and as in approved translations in 42 different languages and 35 countries. And I realize that as there are hundreds of thousands of restaurants and an overwhelming and perhaps still growing number of reviews and recommendations available on Yelp, we know this is a huge task, and we hope to steady our efforts with clear prioritization and goals in mind, using the strategies we've mentioned before. So that's it for our proposal. If you have any questions, please reach out at us using our emails. Thank you.
Thank you.